Is BMW refreshing the Giugiaro BMW M1, the old classic beautiful wedge shape that we have right here on the right? It kind of looks like it when you look at the spy photos right here. It's of course going to be based on the Neue Klasse, the new style for BMW, a little bit more minimalistic, but it still has a very chiseled and a very rakey design here. So we're gonna have a look at this in Photoshop and also the rendering here. I think it's going to be a pretty nice looking vehicle. It almost looks like an off-road coupe for some reason. I think it has to do with the mass that we have in the back. Before we do that, let's have a look at this article from Car Scoops and let's see what this new BMW is all about. So it's going to be, of course, fully electric. I mean, if it's no Neue Klasse, it's probably going to be actually, they're going to make some internal combustion. The 3 Series, for example, Neue Klasse still, but with an internal combustion. So 2026 BMW Neue Klasse Coupe, what we know about Munich's EV stunner. The EV innovation merges with wedge-shaped futurism in BMW's radical new electric sports coupe. It doesn't even have brake calipers because you use regen braking inside of the wheels to slow this down. Very, very futuristic stuff. The prototype features a shark-nose front, sleek profile, and dramatic rear end. The coupe employs innovative electric hub propulsion with the dual rotor motors. Very, very interesting stuff. So this unnamed offering will become the Bavarian automaker's flagship EV and could be seen as a spiritual successor to the i8, which in my opinion was way, way ahead of its time when that design came out. It still looks like a very modern design. I mean, even in 2025, right now, if you look at the BMW i8, it looks like a futuristic design in 2025. That's how far ahead that was. At first glance, there is more than a hint of the Giugiaro designed BMW M1. The front end is menacingly wide and low. You can see it right here in this beautiful rendering. BMW's twin kidney grille has been reimagined with an illuminated outline now integrated into the headlights and grille panels. The low hood exaggerates the car pumped fenders, while the wraparound windscreen weirdly echoes the one seen on the 4th generation Chevy Camaro from 1990. I think that's maybe a little bit of a stretch. I mean, it does look like a regular windshield to me. It doesn't look any crazy like Camaro style or anything like that. The side profile is sleek and futuristic with short overhangs and dramatically sculpted lower doors. Some could argue it resembles the Subaru's largely forgotten SVX Coupe, which was one very cool design. I mean, the greenhouse was that one. Was very, very interesting, very unique greenhouse. And I can see why this could resemble the SVX a little bit with the black graphics down here over the rear hatch. You have a two-tone rear end, tucked under bumper, a prominent diffuser and a tall trunk lid. An ultra-thin horizontal taillight cluster emphasizes the car's width and it integrates seamlessly with the hatch load lip. And the interior, though, is going to be this Neue Klasse, what's it called? The Neue Klasse, not the iDrive panel or something like that, I do believe, when you have the full iDrive in the base of the windshield, just like this. And a squared off that's a little bit tilted like this infotainment screen in the middle. Personally, should I go into it again? I don't think so. It's just keep it short. I'm not a huge fan of this interior. So cue a low slung 2-seat cockpit with angular edges, recycled materials, cutting edge technology with AI integration and semi-autonomous driving capabilities. Basically, you just have to jump in here, sit down, and the car will do everything for you. Sounds pretty boring to me, the way we're headed with the AI and autonomous driving and everything like that. I think old used car prices, specifically for enthusiast cars, are just going to skyrocket in the next 20 years because people are going to realize, yes, it's very cool to have all this tech that we have in these cars, but we lost everything that was fun about driving. As evident by the absence of brake calipers, you don't see any brake calipers here on the spy photos. See, it's completely empty, just a brake disc. Maybe it is a brake. Maybe this is even the motors inside of the wheels. I don't even know if it have. Probably not discs. If it doesn't have calipers, probably don't have discs. So the coupe might utilize revolutionary new electric motors developed in partnership with BMW and a startup called Deep Dive. These features dual rotor technology, effectively integrating 2 electric motors into one unit. Its compact design and lightweight allow for in-wheel drive system, where each wheel hub houses its own electric motor. So you can expect an 800-volt architecture here, and the batteries will employ a unique chemistry distinct from other Neue Klasse models. Not sure what that means. They say it's to enhance driver engagement, which is going to be a problem since it is an EV. So they're taking some inspiration from Hyundai here, including simulated gear shifts and rev limiter sounds. Come on, BMW, don't do this. In a cool design like this, we don't need all this fake trying to be something that you're not. Internal combustion engine features like gear shifts in an EV. It's just ridiculous to me. So the BMW Coupe will compete against models like the MG Cyberster Coupe, Maserati Gran Turismo Folgore, and the Polestar 6. So let's have a look at the photos here. We have a bunch of photos here in this article. The rear end just sits very, very high up with the lights up here. It doesn't look like a BMW to me. It looks, I don't know what it looks like. Not really a BMW. Very high rear end, and I think these proportions is what it makes it looks like almost an off-road sports car in a strange way. I've never seen proportions like this in a production vehicle, but I have to say it looks pretty good. It looks way better than a lot of BMWs we've seen these days. The front end looks great with this low shark nose that we have in the front end and the illuminated grille as well. Wheel design, the proportions look pretty short wheelbase here for an EV. But overall, I'm happy to see this. I mean, it's something new, some Neue Klasse from BMW. The new design language is going to be, it doesn't matter, from what we have right now, it is 100% going to be an improvement from the design language that we have right now. So let's have a look at this design compared to the original M1, because I do feel like they took, obviously, a lot of inspiration from the M1 right here. So on the left side, we do have the coupe right here from a front view, side view, and the rear view as well. I'm not gonna even talk about the interior in this case because it's just not something I want to repeat myself over and over again. So looking at the M1, we have a very, very thin front end, similar front end to what we have in this concept right here. You can see that this is clearly Neue Klasse. We see this in the sedan, in the new X5 as well. We have some opening down here in the lower section for battery cooling, obviously. And I do like the shoulder line because it goes straight like this and then just dips down right into this very thin, razor sharp front end, looking very cool. Not sure what they said about the windshield here looking, or windscreen looking like a Camaro. To me, it just looks like a regular windshield, but that's just me. Maybe they're seeing something I don't. The overall proportions here, it looks pretty decent to me. Very simple design, and this is what I wanted to see from BMW. It wasn't really anything complicated. Just don't make weird graphics going something like this in the front end on every single model that you're dropping. Keep it clean, keep it elegant. I mean, it's a BMW. You should be proud of your history and design language that you used to have back in the day. Looking at the M1 here, beautiful design, of course, by the Italians. We have this nice chamfer going around the greenhouse and a very similar rear end. You can see how tall or high up the rear end sits. Shoulder line looks very similar as well to what we have on this Neue Klasse Coupe. And of course, the front end very chiseled and thin as well. Look at the side view. Beautiful design. I do love this line that we have for the greenhouse. Going down here in one nice curvature into the windshield, dipping down. And we also have this shoulder line now, as we talked about, going down, dipping down fast here. It doesn't really look like an EV to me because we draw this line out from the A-pillar. You can see that this A-pillar now goes down right into the almost the center point of the front axle like we want to see in a sports car like this. We also have some graphics in the side. It looks to be some sort of intake here, or I'm not sure what this is, but it's some carved out portion in this area, as you can see, probably to have some ventilation or some air vent going in this area. The proportions, the wheelbase look great. I mean, this is not EV proportions where you have the wheelbase sitting all the way in this area for the rear wheel, all the way back here, and then you have front wheel sitting almost in front of the headlights. I mean, they stretch out the wheelbases on EVs too much these days, and it just looks very strange. This one has proper wheelbase design. It looks like an internal combustion engine when it comes to the A-pillar positioning and also the wheelbase itself. The beautiful Giugiaro M1 right here was a lot more chiseled, a lot more sharpness going on in this. Very typical for this era of car design. I really like it. I also like this black stripe that goes right in the middle here, similar to what we have in the Ferrari F40, for example. Very clean design, but you can see the rear end definitely inspired this new coupe that we have right here. Now looking at the rear end, not sure why BMW is focusing on putting their taillights so high up. We see it on this prototype they're testing as well. The graphics just sit way up here. It feels like, what are we going to do with this surface then? This is going to be completely empty. I want to bring the taillights down and maybe have something like this going in this area instead of having it sit all the way up here. It looks kind of strange when you're looking at it. Something that you might get used to after a while, but I'm not really sure. It looks like we have a properly designed bumper here as well, with a corner going in here from the rear end lines connecting to the corner right there. Can't really see any sort of diffuser in the rear, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have a pretty aggressive diffuser in the lower section down here. And comparing this to the M1, definitely prefer. I mean, if you look at how these lights are supposed to make the car look wider, but since they sit so high up, it actually makes the car look a lot taller. Now the M1 had some proper taillights in the back, with in the position where I want to see them, almost in the middle. I also always loved the BMW logos that we have on these pieces down on the sides, looking very cool. We also have the exhaust pipes here, of course, proper bumper. This looks way wider, in my opinion, than this new vehicle right here, the Neue Klasse Coupe, just because the taillights sit lower and they also sit further out on the sides. I want to show you the rendering here, last but not least. How I think this is extremely close to what the production vehicle is going to look like, and that is not a bad thing at all, because this looks pretty good to me after all the designs we've had from BMW the last couple of years, where everything seems to be just a mess. The proportions have pretty much been on point, except for the iX. That's just, I don't know what BMW is doing there, but everything else, all the other models from BMW, the proportions have pretty much been on point. It's just the graphics that are so out of place everywhere around every new BMW. This one with the Neue Klasse design, very, very clean design. And it doesn't hurt to look at this vehicle. I mean, that is a good grade for BMW these days. If it doesn't hurt to look at it, it's an improvement. And that is what I think this is over the current BMW lineup. So very cool to see this. I'm not entirely sure when it's going to go into production. They say it's going to be a 2026 model year, I think. So we should probably see this in its final form pretty soon.